What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, the aftermath of the super dope, awesome Dev Direct by Microsoft Xbox, mostly positive. I would say 99.9% positive reactions on the interwebs. Of course, the grifters are going to say the negative things, saying, oh, it was bad, or it was this and that. If anybody's talking negative about what that was, the Dev Direct as a whole, they're grifters, period. Look at Dreamcast guy, look at, I guess, Marlon. They're all trying to placate to that specific little, the ponies and the donkey unicorns, the Sony fanboys, which is kind of idiotic because if you have a certain amount of followers, right, they'll be placed, they can be casual, or, I mean, they're all not donkey unicorns, they're all not ponies. So by catering to that specifically isn't wise, because first of all, Sean said something today that made me laugh, for real. He called the PlayStation the TLC station. I think he called it the TLC Station 6. I think he was referring to the PlayStation 6. He called it the TCL, the TCL Station 6. And I said, okay, I wasn't expecting. That just came out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, that's pretty good. You don't hear none of these donkey unicorns and ponies talking about how Sony is crumbling down. Sony, the television division gone. Literally, what it's like and the home audio go. Remember Walkman? Remember that? Discman? All that stuff. I think they say phone too. All of that stuff. Like the literal foundation, the history of Sony, gone. All they're concentrating on is music, movies, animation as well. Like that goes with movies. Video games? I mean, not so much the hardware. It seems like it's all software-based, service-based MAUs. That's what they said they're concentrating on, right? They're concentrating on MAUs, and you see what they're doing. They're slowly deteriorating and destroying their hardware businesses. Right now, TV's gone. They don't make TVs anymore. TCL makes Sony TVs now. And I heard somebody in the chat said they've been making them for a while. I was like, you know what? That might be true. I don't know. I didn't look it up. I didn't do any research on that. But as far as this recent news come out, TCL is Sony. You say, oh, I'm going to get a Sony brand. No, that's a TCL, bro. What you doing? And everybody making fun of TCLs. I guess Sony thought they were good enough, right, to put their name on it. They see that they're selling so many. See, here's my question. Now, the person who wrote the article said they're going to still use the Sony and the Bravia brand. But if TCL has a controlling stake in it, why wouldn't they use their name? Because TCL is like kind of cleaning up house. Everybody's buying a TCL mainly because they're cheap. So why wouldn't TCL just be like, nah, it's a TCL, bro. Bravia's gone. Nobody wants a Bravia. If they're not buying so many TVs or Bravias, why would you put that name on your TCL that is selling? That's the question. So I don't know. But anyway, that whole business that's destroyed now. Sony doesn't have, are cameras next? That they're going to give up on cameras? Probably not, because they make all of the chips that go into these things, the sensors. So that aspect of the hardware is still there. I mean, they could probably get out of the actual camera business, but I think they might just slow down production or something. There's things that are happening behind the scenes at Sony because they have to make money, and it's not just PlayStation, it's the whole company. And you see, like, they're coming out with a Netflix joint. What's it called? GOAT. It's Steph Curry. I guess it's based on his story or whatever. He's a producer on it, whatever. It's not based on it. I mean, it's anthropomorphic animals. He's a goat, or the main character is a goat, and he's playing against horses and bulls. Anyway, it's a Sony animation joint, just like the, whatchamacallit, K-pop Demon Hunters, and I guess Meet the Millers was the other one, or whatever the Millers was called, and Spider-Man movies. So it was a great animation studio, but that's not coming out in theaters. I don't think it's coming out in theaters. I think it's just coming straight to Netflix. Or am I incorrect? There might be theaters. But anyway, they're doing all these different things, right? They're trying to expand television. A lot of their shows, they produce a lot of TV, so they make money off the networks. The networks buy the show, they get money that way. So once again, you have to look at all the different ways that Sony's making money. And hardware, I don't think, especially with all this tech price hikes and stuff, I think a lot of it, that's probably why they got out of TVs right now, is because they're like, we can't afford to, because if we do this, our prices are going to go up. Nobody's buying them anyway right now. And once the prices go up, nobody will definitely buy them. So I don't know. And there's been a rumor, there's been talk of them extending the generation, video game wise, for the TCL Station 6. And speculation, 2030, right? And I'm like, I mean, it was already 2028, so you had them 2 years. That doesn't, sure, to clear the whole RAM thing, right? But the problem with that is that it might clear the RAM shortage. That doesn't mean the prices are going to come down. The prices are not coming down. And also, tangent real quick, I want to kick myself in the face because I was on Amazon and I looked at the Xbox ROG Ally, the regular, the white boy. I said I was going to buy it, right? I was like, I'm going to buy it. And I looked on it and it said $4.99. I was like, wait, that's a sale. It's not $4.99. It's $5.99 usually, right? Or something like that. And I looked at it. I put it on I saved it on one of my lists. Then a couple of days later, I looked at it. It's still there. Okay, cool. $4.99, cool. Then the next day, boom, I looked at it. $5.89. I was like, dang it. Hot dangity doogity dang. Went up $90 just like that. I was like, man, I should have bought it. But then, actually, why I didn't buy it. If this would have went another way, I might have bought it. I might have bought it. But I went to Best Buy on my field trip, and they had a ROG Ally on display. They had it chained up and stuff, but you could like pick it up a little bit and lift it. So I picked it up. I was like, okay. I mean, it's not uncomfortable, but I was like, So I said, I don't need to spend $500 on this thing. So I have a little Ally Express emulator thing that has like 59,000 games on it or whatever. And so I'll probably just mess with that on my crazy trip. Or maybe I'll go to the bar. I don't know what kind of plane I'm flying on, so I have no idea. But I guess the second leg, well, we're flying out on Emirates, I think. Yeah. So I don't know if it's going to be one of them triple-decker joint. Anyway, we'll see. I'll probably document some of that. I have to document it. It'll be international videos. I'm gonna do international videos. I don't know how I'm gonna get the news, but I'm gonna try to get video game news while I'm across the world. Anyway, the PlayStation 5 generation being elongated seems like it's necessary. Now, all the Dunk Unicorns and the ponies and the fanboys are coping right now because they're like, oh, I don't want a new generation. We're good with the PlayStation 5. And I'm like, no fan has ever said that. Ever said, nah, we don't want a new console. No one has ever said that. Why are they saying it now? Because PlayStation ain't got no games. They got no games for a new... You put out a new console, you got to have new games. If you don't have new games, why would they buy the console? They wouldn't buy the console. And the only way that they would buy the console if you made those games exclusive, but you ain't got no games to make exclusive, so there's no purpose in making a console. That's why they're not making a console. They don't have any games to say, hey, you need to buy this new console to buy this new game that's only on this new console. None of that exists. And they already said they're trying to promote that cross generation of 4, 5, and 6. Pistol Tech 4, 5, and 6. Slop Station 4, 5, and 6. They're trying to, push that cross-generational stuff so they can have that MAU, so they can say PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and PlayStation 6 MAUs. They're trying to catch up to Microsoft. They can't. They will never be able to catch up to them. Microsoft has over 500, I believe it's 550 million MAUs. It might be close to 6 at this point, but I'm like, yo, they're just running away with it, And Sony said, literally, this is how we want to gauge our success. MAUs. Why do you think they get out of TVs? Because there's nothing, it's just a sale on hardware. They have no other reoccurring money after that initial sale. So they're like, yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's let TCL do all the work, and we just get our 49%. We get whatever the cut it is that they're gonna get on on the back end of those things. It's probably not 49%. That's just the stakes. But I'm sure they have a deal, and they get a certain percentage, certain points off of each sale. So whatever. Okay, if it's just that, and they give them whatever. It's just an indication, like I said last video, it's an indication of the downward spiral of PlayStation, of Sony, Via, and PlayStation, all together. And like I said, if you're looking at the TV, and once again, TV and home audio, if you look at that, and that's a main pillar of their business as it was historically, how do you think the console hardware, the video game hardware business is gonna be sustained when their iconic pillar was just sold off? They said, nah. They do the same thing to the console. See, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna make their launcher on PC. They're gonna try to have a store on PC. They probably have a store on PC already. They're gonna try to make it so that the business on PC is greater than or equal to what they're pulling in on PlayStation. And they're gonna be like, yeah, we don't need the PlayStation anymore. We just do all this stuff on PC. We ain't got to worry about the upfront cost of R&D on this console, which is $1 billion. We could save $1 billion and make all this money, and blah, 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 blah. Like I said, it's all about money. It's Hiroki Totoki's world. So y'all are not gonna like what Hiroki got in store for y'all. He's gonna come in. I mean, he already has come in, and he's gonna just destroy everything. And that's what's happening, pretty much. And so it's only a matter of time. I'm looking at it, I'm like, and they're so goofy. They like, it wasn't CES. I forgot when it was. Was it CES last year or something? Like, oh, we have a Sony car. We going in with Honda. I think it was Honda. We're making the Sony car. I'm like, really? Who's gonna buy that? King Thrash? Probably just him. Maybe J-Dub. They might buy the Sony car. It's just it's dumb. It's so dumb. You want a Sony car? Just put a PlayStation in your existing car with a little screen. There's your Sony car. That's all. Paint it white. Put a blue stripe on it. Call it a day. You don't need to do all. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So they do a lot of things for like prestige or for like cool points or whatever. And I'm like, business wise, they've been making a lot of foolish errors and mistakes. Jim Ryan was a whole debacle. I'm trying to figure out how he rose to the ranks. I mean, I know that his SE, excuse me, the Europe branch of Sony was successful while he was there in charge. So I guess they said, oh, he's doing that for Europe. Let's give him the whole thing so he can do the same thing. And then it wasn't the right choice because we saw how that worked out. Now, excuse me. Now, I'm not sure if his intent was flawed, because his idea of having a successful live service game is not a flawed idea. His approach was flawed. And part of being a CEO, I would imagine, is that you have the ideas and you have the plan. His ideas were sound to an extent. His plan was not sound. Live service game, that's a good idea. 12 of them at the same time, not a good idea. Anybody with common sense who knows anything about video games, for the most part, would have said, what? 12? How are you gonna be? First of all, there aren't even 12 out there right now successful at the same time. How are you gonna make 12? I know you're expecting some of these to fail. Okay, I understand that. You're throwing everything at the wall, see what sticks. I get that approach. That's not business. That's not smart business. That you're spending millions upon millions of dollars on a very risky proposition. That's what he did. That's why he ruined that. Will Marathon, will Marathon be anything that sticks? It's going to be hard to say. We'll see. The fact that it's $40 is, if it was free to play, I would say, you know what, it might be all right. But $40, and they're like, oh, but Arc Raiders is $40. But yeah, Arc Raiders, people wanted to buy and play that game because there was I believe there was a beta or whatever. People were playing it like, oh my god, it's nice, it's dope, whatever. I don't hear anything like that about Marathon. I don't hear people say, oh, I played the open beta, it's dope, I'm getting it, it's bad. I mean, we've seen the trailers, and we're like, oh yeah, the trailers are there, they're pretty cool, but I don't know, man, whatever. It's PlayStation, they got no games, and the couple of games that, like, you figure 3 years from now, how many first party games that they're gonna put out? 3? 1 a year? What is it? I mean, Marathon, you can count that, I guess, but it's multiplat, so people don't count multiplats, right? So the exclusives are Wolverine for now. I mean, it's gonna be a PC too, so it's not exclusive. So let's just take that exclusive word out of the situation. So Marathon, Wolverine, the show, I guess. Soros. That's about it, right? And so 2 of those are multiplayer multiplats. So do they count? If they're going to be on Xbox as well? Who knows? Wolverine and Soros. That's a double A game. That's a throwaway game. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying it's not of the caliber. It ain't the top tier. Wolverine, like I said, they made a game. What's it called? Fuse, right? I think it was called Fuse. They made a bad game. Insomniac is not impervious to bad games. They made a bad game before. This was really bad. If y'all don't remember, go back and look. Go back and look at the. I played the demo. I was like, this is this is Insomniac. I don't. They wait, Sunset and then they made this. No, this ain't right. I think they made Fuse first, and then they made Sunset Overdrive. I think that's what the order was. Yeah, because they were making Ratchet and Crank, Ratchet and Clank and stuff. Then they made Fuse as a multiplat, and it was trash. And then they made Sunset Overdrive, and then Sony bought them because they were scared. Because Microsoft was about to buy them. And Sony needed a studio to do the Spider-Man games because Xbox said, nah, we don't like the license, man. Y'all are crazy. Disney was like, yeah, we want 1,000% of all the profits, 1,000 points. And Microsoft was like, man, who do you think we are, Sony? Get out of here with them numbers, man. Shoot. And then you're like, oh, man, Spider-Man's so successful on PlayStation and all stuff. Like, I mean, you might be right. It might sell a good amount, but who's making all the money? Disney's making all the money. Sony's making a couple of pennies here and there. I mean, they might be pulling in 50% or so. But that's crazy. But hey, when you got a powerful IP, you can do that, right? So I'm wondering what the blade cut is, for Microsoft. I mean, Wolverine might be comparable to Spider-Man because, Deadpool and Wolverine. That's what Microsoft should do. They should be like, yo, we doing Deadpool and Wolverine. We getting Ryan Reynolds. We getting Hugh Jackman. We doing it up. Do that game. That'd be tight. Not based off of the movie, just like after, like they were sitting outside. Maybe something else pops off and you continue right after there or something. And maybe it's in canon. Maybe it's a what if or whatever. Just talk to Kevin Feige. Y'all work that out. That'd be dope. That's one thing I have to complain about. The Insomniac games are not canon to the MCU, which I understand why they wouldn't do it because it's harder for them to be creative. But I think that they would sell way more if they were in canon and if they did kind of a joint, like said, Kevin Feige, they got with Kev, they got with the creatives over at Marvel, and they came up with the story and all that stuff, and they made the game. And I'm like, yo, that would be dope. But I see where they can't do certain things, and because it overlaps with the movie, they want to do a certain villain, but no, they want to do it in the movie first, or whatever. So I get it, but still, it would be nice if they were part of the whole canon, because I think they would. I mean, based off the quality of the game, obviously, I think it would do really well. I mean, it does well now because of the IP alone, but imagine if Tom Holland was actually in it, and he didn't look like Uncanny Valley Tom Holland. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'm about to crash because I'm still a little under the weather. But I appreciate y'all hanging out, showing me, listen, man, like, subscribe. Hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about these donkey unicorns and these ponies trying to downplay the awesomeness that was the Xbox Dev Direct 2026. Forza Horizon Gundam style. Let's go, baby. Man, I might have to buy that deluxe premium edition. It's $120. I was like, man, but it comes with everything. Got 2 DLCs. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Gundam is part of the DLC. So I'm like, they gonna get me. I was like, well, I guess since I didn't buy the Xbox ROG Ally, I could buy the $120 version of Forza Horizon 6. And I said I was gonna buy it, so. Or I could just play it on Game Pass for a while and wait until it drops in super dope low price, because they always have sales on that stuff like down the road. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. I still got time. You know, it's coming out in May, so I still got time to ponder on it. I think I'll wait till my trip. Actually, oh snap! Wait, I think I'm coming back right when they launch that game. So yeah, so that'll be good. Anyway, I appreciate. Let's talk to you on the next one. Till the wait.